Hello and welcome to episode 17 of War Down South, the fortnightly Warhammer podcast from the south coast of the UK. I am your host, as ever, Callum Slater. I'm joined once again by my fabulous co-hosts, Mr. Ricky Robson.
Hey.
Who took a week off in the last episode, so it's lovely to have him back. And Mr. Sam Nice.
Wiki, recognise.
Beautiful. So this week, the team will be going over hobby and purchasing updates for our wonderful GW ranges, and we'll be talking through the latest GW preview with previews for Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, and Warhammer Underworlds. So, sit back, grab a stiff drink, let's roll. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. As ever, Callum, Sam, and Ricky. How are you guys doing this week? Oh, actually, before we answer that, round of applause, we've got Ricky back.
Yay! Guess who's back? Back again. Ricky's back. Tell a friend. No? I'm on my own.
You're all right.
Let's not do that.
Wasted.
How are you guys? You okay?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Fabulous. And how did you feel about not recording the other week, Ricky?
Hated it.
Hated it.
Yeah. I felt like fear of missing out kind of thing.
I'm just imagining you sat at your home office tapping away at your keyboard and periodically just.
Well, I looked at the clock and I was like, they'll be recording right now. It's quite sad.
It's all right. We mocked you solidly for like an hour and a half. It was fine.
I've actually started listening to the episode. I haven't got all the way through it. I was like, cheers, guys.
It's all right. It's just 90 minutes of us talking about Warhammer Fantasy. It has no bearing or relevance on absolutely anything.
It's all right.
Yeah, we weren't even aware we were recording, to be honest.
When does any of our episodes actually bear any relevance?
It would have been a cutting edge podcast in like 2009.
Yeah. Maybe it probably wouldn't have been back then because Warhammer Fantasy players.
No, that's true. They would have had to figure out what the internet is, and then after they'd had their priests scream at the spirits in the magic TV, then they might have figured out how to listen to it.
Oh dear.
That's 3 subscribers gone.
If I exclusive Warhammer Fantasy Battles content.
Yeah. They literally only started listening last week, and now they're just like, oh. All right, Matron will wheel them back onto the ward.
Any hobby from you guys this week? The last couple of weeks?
Yeah,
last month, Ricky, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, you want to go first, Ricky? You've got a month to catch up on, mate.
I've not been doing physical model building. I've been just looking at craft world lists, really, just trying to
desperately looking at your howling banshees again.
desperately trying to make something viable.
Ricky's torn pages out of codexes and pinned them to walls. He's got red thread going between them like a madman. No, they're not any good, Ricky.
No, they're really. I can't make anything, buddy. It's absolutely awful. It's a really, really awful time for them. I think it's worse than the start of 8th for them. Like they had nothing then, and got nothing now.
I wouldn't say it's that bad.
You don't think?
No.
Oh.
No,
I think it's a real sorry state.
The sort of a point to sort of in comparison where we are in 9th in comparison to 8th. Obviously, the codexes aren't coming out as quickly as anybody would like, but that's down to logistical issues and whatever, and COVID and Brexit, etc. But
I'm not playing, so I don't really
Well,
care.
I'm not playing. I don't really care, but at least people have got a better foundation because they've got a codex with stratagems and bits and pieces in.
Whereas, it's better than the index.
Yeah, when I can remember when we went to, I went to the first 8th edition 40k GT, and I think only like 3 codexes were released. Marines had definitely been released because literally a third of the field were Marine armies with Guilliman. Because poor Rob, our friend Rob, had to play 4 Guillimans in a row with his super heavy tank company, and I was using our friend Chris's Elder Revenant Titan.
Yes, I remember now.
Yeah, because it was 1,200 points and I couldn't be bothered to actually come up with an army list because I was so despondent with how bad the Drukhari stuff was in the index. But the Elder Codex had come out, so I used some bits and pieces from that and
a Revenant.
Yeah. Which was criminally undercosted at 1,200 points, it was.
It's only like 1,500 now.
Yeah, it shot up to 2,000 quite soon.
And then everyone stopped using it, and then now it's back down, but it's nowhere near as survivable now.
Nah. But no actual hobby. Just trying to make Elder work whilst
working.
Whilst working, yeah. So times, Sam.
I've been building Titanicus stuff. I've been sat flicking through the rule book. It seems like a really cool rule set. I can't wait to get stuck into it. But I've literally been building robots and knights, and I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
hard. Fall down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Harkening back to our obviously episode with Chris from Tabletop Standard, like when you've got all the data terminals and stuff in front of you, and you're moving along all the blips, and you're like calling down Titans and regenning void shields, it does make you feel like a Titan princess. Is like you've got so much going on.
Yeah.
It's like that's a very cool interactive part of the game.
Yeah, and all the different books are really like each one seems to add like a really nice extra element to the game. Like I've been looking at the defensive riser stuff because I want to build my own legion. Because it makes the mana pool that I want to run better.
That's cool.
Yeah, love it. I can't wait to get stuck into that and make silly robot noises while we play games.
Yes, yeah. I'm looking forward. Like that's on the list of top 3 games I want to play when the world comes back, and delve into it a bit more. I'm hoping that the Titanicus stuff becomes more condensed with this loyalist book, and then presumably the traitor book that comes out, because it is they are like spread over 5-6 books or whatever at the moment. It's a little bit tedious going through it all, but that's cool. Have you decided on a like an existing household, or are you going to make your own?
I'm making my own using the Crusader Legion stuff.
Nice.
So
colours?
Still unsure on colours yet. But I'm going for the Janissary mana pool, which is the Reavers and the Warhounds. And then from the reading I've done, a lot of people seem to avoid it because it doesn't offer any benefit to the Titans themselves. It lets you act with the household banners that you take out of sequence. So like if you move a Titan at the end of their movement, you then get to immediately activate, if you want, a Knight banner that's within a range of it.
Yeah, you can do some really cool things with that.
And with the special rules and stuff that you can string together building your own legion, there's a couple that make that mana pool really, really good. So there's one of the traits means that, you know, if you pass an order onto one of your Titans, then one of your Knight banners can receive the same order with a +2 modifier, which is really good. Sling out those first fires on the Porphyrions, and then there's a war gear upgrade that means that your household banners within range of a Titan with it can never be shaken, which seems to be a big problem for Knights.
Yeah. As soon as you stop them moving, shooting, and charging every turn, whereas a Titan can sort of take that on the chin. The knights really need to get out of the way, and then be hurtling across the board from what I've seen him played. So that's that's cool.
Looking forward to experimenting with that. And I also managed to snag myself a hobby holy grail. I managed to get myself a unit of Slayer pirates for not a ridiculous amount of money, and I was very, very pleased with it. Yeah. So I'm going to use them as counts as Auric Hearthguard in my funky Slayer army.
They're the ones with like the fire pikes.
Yeah, so instead of fire pikes, they're literally just going to have pistols and bottles.
Tiny shitty pistols. Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Those dwarfs are a lot smaller though, aren't they?
They're tiny.
The Slayer pirates are taller than the dwarves that were out at the same time. It's
really?
There was no consistency of scale in that range whatsoever, which is why some of my older characters have to be propped up on rocks. But against some of them, against like the modern Fire Slayer sculpts, fairly negligible in height. Others, I've got
dwarves amongst dwarves.
I've got like some of the Doomseeker sculpts that I've got. Like it's time to break out the big shoes. Yeah,
not allowed on any roller coasters.
Could be worse. Could be like a dwarf, like from Avengers, where he's massive.
Oh, I'd love that. I want a really big dwarf.
That's what you should use as your next Magmadroth.
What? Peter Dinklage?
Just a giant hairy baby.
Yeah. What about you?
So on the day of the last episode, I ordered myself a Knight Atropos from Forge World,
your boy,
and a Moirax because I wanted to bump up the free postage. And in that time, I have built the Knight Atropos and added all the bits and pieces to sort of fill him in and fit him in with my existing Knight household. So that's been a nice, fun thing to do in the evenings.
They're big fucker, isn't they?
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. And I've played against one before, and I sort of know how big the sort of Lancer chassis is, but it's bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
Is that the one that we played in the doubles against where Jamie ran?
Yes, yeah.
It's the same one, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Very different rules that it had back then.
Yes.
But yeah, it's cool. It's nowhere near as I mean for similar sort of points you can get a Crusader, so 2 guns plus like missile racks and stuff. And that's a lot more shooting. But this thing's like a dedicated big thing killer. And probably better. Well, it is very good at killing Marines in combat because it can do one of its combat weapons can do 3 times the amount of basic attacks, like a stomp. But strength 6, AP 3 damage.
Okay.
So
that's good.
And if you think most of the time, if you're going to be fighting against units like Blade Guard or other Primara stuff or Deathwing, they're going to be
3 wounds.
Yeah, they've all got 3 wounds, but they're all going to be transhumaned anyway. So only being strength 6 doesn't really matter in that point. It's just but it's the automatic 3 damage compared to the D3 of the stomp, which can make quite a bit of difference there. So that's quite cool. So I'm looking forward to so I might spray him up tomorrow. Start getting the work done on him, or
you got 1 week basically until you put him on the back burner.
Yes, yeah, because I've got a very loud ticking clock. Yes, but I also want to try out some more lists because the Warglaives, the Armigers, got a good reduction in points in the Winter FAQ, and I've now found myself with a fair number of them. Not sure how that happened. I may have bought several more boxes. to run them around.
No problem there.
But so that's quite cool. Yes, so the other part of the hobby that I really enjoy doing is buying things. Yeah, and
that's a different hobby on its own.
It is. It's great. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, because I've got to walk backwards and forwards to a fistful of dice a couple of times a week and carry toys back from there.
They should deliver them.
To be fair, during when they couldn't offer click and collect during the lockdowns last year, they did do a local delivery service, and it was brilliant. I think I live on the way home from Dave, one of the owners. So
Callum broke his back with all the toys he ordered, so they don't do that anymore.
It's just, but no, they were very good, and they've done a great job. So good shout out to them. So today is Saturday the 20th, which is a week before Saturday the 27th. So that means that it is Drukhari pre-order day.
If you didn't hear Callum screaming on the wind.
To be fair, like I don't think my bank balance would have taken such a hit if all of the Drukhari leaks hadn't come out last night. Because as soon as I saw some of the leaks, I immediately knew all the things that were going to sell out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So it was.
I have you been on there? Have you seen what? Has sold out?
Yeah. So I was making sure I was rummaging around in boxes last night to make sure that I had the 20 Hellions that I thought I had, and I do, so that's good on Sprue. And then I was running around buying Scourges and bits and pieces, and then counting up how many Raiders that I've got on Sprues, because I think I'm going to be needing more.
Don't forget, I've got those Scourges for you.
I had forgotten that. That. That's timely. Right. Thank you. Because they are very good now.
Are they? Eat what? Even
well,
better?
They do
because they were very good.
They do exactly the same job. It's just that some of their guns got cheaper, and some of their guns got cheaper and a lot better. So, for example,
combo.
Yeah, the Heat Lance, which was always like a really cool thing, but was always just worse than a blaster. Used to be Assault 1, Strength 6, AP 4, D6 damage with the old Melter rule. Now they're Heavy 1, 18-inch range, Strength 8, AP 4, and flat. Well, not flat, but always D6 plus 2 damage. And
okay, so they've gone and followed the Melter rules.
Well, better than the Melter rule because they do it at full range. So just
Well, yeah, but they've got that plus 2.
Yeah, so I know that I'm going to be digging around Sprues to find Heat Lances. Because for 100 points, you get 5 Scourges and 4 Heat Lances. I think at least 2 or 3 of that is going to be in every Drukhari list. Obviously, they get the minus because they're still infantry. They get the -1 for moving and shooting heavy weapons, but for that sort of damage output, they're better. Like a blaster's the same amount of points, and it's just trying to figure out whether or not being able to move and shoot / advance and shoot and hit on 4s is worth losing the automatic 2 damage. In comparison,
yeah, I see where you come from. Being able to always have that 2 damage is almost worth the -1.
Yeah, it's obviously need to see the rest of the codex and stratagems and stuff. But it looks like Scourges are very good. Scourges haven't changed. It's just the weapons have got a lot better. Hellions now have 2 wounds for the same points, which makes sense because they are riding little hover bikes. So that's quite cool, and they're substantially better in combat. I cover all of that when I do a codex review. But because of that, I was going around buying, and I bought more things than I intended to. So I bought Piety and Pain. And I was like, I've got witches, I've got all the Sisters of Battle stuff I need. this box does have scourges in it. So I took that excuse to pick up that, and it's got obviously Lilith and the I can't remember what she's called. The new Sister Battle character. Can't remember what the character's called. And then I picked up a Palatine. That's it. I picked up the new Drukhari Combat Patrol box, which replaces the Start Collecting set. That's very good value for what it is. That's an Archon, 5 Incubi, 10 Warriors, a Raider, and a Ravager. For, I think retails 85, so I got it for 70 odd pounds. So that's really good.
Apart from Lilith, is there any other new models?
No.
It's just
Lilith, unfortunately, but I
quite like
that I can.
It's great. I know some people weren't so sure about it when it came out was shown, but she's really grown on me. That one, I like it.
Yeah, I really like it. Like it like the physical presence of the model and like the stature. It makes sense when you really think about this. Is an Eldar. Well, this is an Eldari, sorry, that like spends all of its time working out and murdering things. So she's going to be hench.
She's going to be a stocky girl.
But yeah, I like that model.
Also, comparison with like Jane Zar, like she needs to be
big. Oh yeah.
Yeah, both of them are roller derby girls.
Like.
Yes, and picked up the Codex dice, all of the other bits and pieces, and some more scourges.
They're pearly dice.
Yeah.
And more scourges.
Hopefully for faction-specific dice for once.
Yeah, so it's I'm not sure how big they are. I think they're 5 centimeters, maybe. So I can't recall how. I don't.
That
5 centimeters.
That's pretty big Mongo dice.
That's how big. That's how big. Like your confrontation dice are 5 centimeters, aren't they?
No.
5 centimeters.
Centimeters.
They're 16 millimeters. Those dice.
No,
like 1.5 centimeters. Yeah. That's a normal dice size.
What? Oh, I don't know how big things are. Whatever.
You've been lying to girls for years.
Well, I don't know how big they are, but yeah, they look perfectly usable. I'm gonna measure dice later. I'm very happy with it. Obviously, I imagine the next episode will just be an hour and a half of me reading through the Drukhari book, and you two getting annoyed and tired with me.
Not at all. I'm. This is what I was talking to you about earlier in the week. Like the foundation of the Drukhari book shines light on the other Eldari factions because it shows the direction that they're putting the race as a whole. If Drukhari are getting those buffs that suit the attributes of the race, then the others will follow suit. So, as I was saying, like today, like Aspect Warriors, it shines hope on them. And the Cabalites getting those buffs of the better armor save and stuff like that. You can think that. I know.
I can't wait to cut from this discussion
they may
to an episode down the line where we just hear Ricky slam down a book. This is fucking shit.
No. It makes perfect thematic sense as to why Banshees only have a 6-up armor save and 1 attack and no AP on their weapons. No, it makes sense.
And somehow the stat line spells out "fuck you, Ricky." I don't even know how they managed it. It's.
But no, it will be nice that. I mean, even Harlequin's further down the line as well to see how they come out at the end of it, and it's good. I'm from what I've seen, which is a substantial portion of the weapons and unit profiles. The codexes that have been released for this edition so far are either super resilient and killy,
as Necrons and Death Guard are, or like a nice hybrid of that being Marines. This Drukhari book seems to be incredibly killy and incredibly quick and incredibly good at secondaries.
Okay, but you can still go down.
It's
like you always could.
I think like a few things have been made a little bit more resilient. So a couple of the vehicles have got like toughness tweaks and stuff. But the stuff in the or the current book that's absurdly resilient, like the Prophets of Flesh Racks and Grotesques, that's being all stripped back. Because like that was resilient beyond belief. So I think they're sort of balancing out and making so that like the homunculus coven stuff is going to be just as paper thin as everything else, but that will give you the sort of gribbly horde sort of aspect of things instead of being the super resilient stuff.
Makes them that sort of scalpel force again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does it still makes them worthwhile?
Yes, yeah. I can see. I can see. So I can still see that stuff being used. What I haven't seen is from the Codex any of the like custom stuff, because that's what made.
Okay.
That's what brought a level of killiness to the Coven stuff. Was the Dark Technomancer's ability, and I doubt that's in the Codex because it was absurd. We'll go over it. But they seem very quick, very killy, and also like with the changes to Battle Round 5 since the FAQ, where you score at the end of the last turn. Like that seems like a real benefit for resilient armies, and almost going second is preferable because that's an easier way to score and catch up on the primary at the end of the game. Whereas it looks like Drukhari really always want to go first, because they want to just batter you from the off, and then
a bit like Harlequin.
It doesn't look like they can take a hit in that first turn. Like, obviously, they'll be able to keep quick stuff in reserve and jump on objectives late game. They'll still be obviously playable, not going first. But it sort of fits the raiding style. They're just going to appear out of nowhere and attack you and kill all your good stuff, and then it's whether or not you can hit them back. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. So we just cover some quick other GW news before we go on to today's preview. So we saw a quick preview and teaser of some of Bellacor's rules, and that full model was released to us. And oh my word, that model was outstanding,
isn't it?
He is pretty. I do feel though that Pete, friend of ours, friend of the show, I wanted to, the same as him. Really wish he was the same size as he always was.
He's always so angry because he's so
fun.
Small.
Well, that's the
Napoleon.
That's the thing. Like the actual, like the current Be'lakor model is one of my favourite GW models they've ever produced.
Yes, fantastic.
And
he's stunning. Yeah. Even at that size.
Even when he was released, it was like, oh, that's a cool model, and you didn't think it was tiny. It's just like, but now everybody's bigger than him. Mm-hmm. It's quite funny. So that model's very cool. We've seen a raft of video games get announced. There's a new first-person shooting Necromunda game, which most importantly lets you have a pet cyber mastiff. So that's important. And apparently it's going to score highly. There's an online account or like video game reviewer that reviews games entirely on pets and stuff, and how your pets and stuff interact with the game. And apparently the most important things in that is whether or not you can actually pet the dog. And apparently you can in this game, so that's quite important. And we saw a load of previews for animations from the Storyforge studio. So loads of animated like cartoons and series come out for that. We've got the trailer for Exodite, which is going to be exciting. Going to see some Tau.
Does it have
some
actual
Eldars.
Exodites in it?
It does. It does.
Yeah. They did a thing on it where they said like they will introduce the Exodites in a way like we've obviously never ever seen them in flesh. Because we've only ever you only ever get pictures,
like,
don't you?
I think it's something that people need to remember is judging something immediately by the trailer and thinking that's the entirety of something. Probably never a good idea. So lots of cool things coming out of that, so I'm looking forward to all of that stuff coming. So we're going to take a quick break, and then on the other side, we'll be talking about today's preview. Thanks very much. Okay, we're back from our first wee break. Callum, Ricky, and Sam still here.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself. Yeah. I've been here the whole time in my adult diaper.
Catheter.
Oh dear. Just reabsorb it all. So what are you drinking this week, Ricky?
I'm on the San Miguel. It's springtime. The sun is out. I went and bought some beer.
Ah, it's nice and
refreshing. I have a bucket in front of me full of ice with 3 more. That's why I had to run downstairs. I've already done 3, and we've only recorded half hour.
Good.
Poo.
And yourself, Sam? Coffee?
Oh, nothing, mate. I'm fighting off the need for a nap. It's
so old.
It's Alana's fault. She made a big lunch, and now I'm all sleepy.
Right. When you say big lunch,
I just want a grandpa.
I feel this is going to be quite normal. Come on, what was it?
It was I'm trying. It's like a braised belly pork in soy and Asian spices, and it. Oh god, mate, it's fantastic.
All right, you win.
Yeah,
Jeez. This is why they've got a food blog.
Yeah,
Ricky.
It's true.
A very popular food blog.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes. No.
All right. Yep. That does sound good.
I'm full of braised pork and ready for a nap.
It's like every day's Christmas.
Yeah. That's fair. I've discovered...
I was about to say, what are you drinking, pal? I heard you undo a bottle.
Yeah, I've discovered over the last couple of days a very tasty beverage.
Is it rum bouillon with lemsip sprinkled into it?
No.
Hooch.
Something. So see, something like it's very old school.
Mad Dog 2020.
Hooch, then.
It's water.
Oh.
Yeah. I sort of realised how much I was drinking and how much it was affecting me health-wise, so I've stopped.
Yeah, so what are we really drinking?
No. I've actually got water, but I had my coronavirus vaccine on Thursday, and it's absolutely kicked the living shit out of me and made me feel terrible. So, I am actually drinking water, and no.
Oh, I heard you undo a bottle.
It's not a life change.
Yeah.
It's my little canteen thing.
Give him a week until he's feeling better. He'll be drinking neat amyl nitrate down the bus shelter with the other Albert Road tramps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ammonium sulfate in the lungs.
I've got a couple of days of catching up to do.
I feel like
white lightning in the arm.
I feel like I should just put the kettle on rather than sat here with the beers.
No, you enjoy your very early springtime beers.
Yeah. Where's the sunshine, motherfucker? Send some this way.
I don't know about you guys. I've had the sun beating down in my garden today.
Oh, it is grim and grey down Southsea way, mate.
Yeah, it was nice a little bit earlier, but it is it's grey here at the moment.
Gutted. That says you're right.
Anyways, shall we talk about the GW preview?
No, let's talk about the weather.
All right.
Oh,
First thing that I noticed. So anybody who didn't catch the preview live or is looking for a recap of it, go to the Warhammer community website, and it is the Faith and Damnation preview. The first thing I noticed in regards to this is that the banner on the Warhammer community page, especially on this page, has a Grey Knight Terminator librarian in the picture, right?
Oh, he's flipping you off.
He's flipping you off, isn't he? He's flipping off the camera.
Yeah, he's flipping you off with force powers.
He is inexplicably got some After Effect Photoshop above his middle finger. That is a big glowing light, and he is just flipping everyone off. Which is
he's either flipping you off or declaring that it's probing time. Neither of which are fantastic options.
It's It's I was like, that's strange, but I also love it. Yeah. Anyway, so another surprise preview that we got only a week's notice for. So Faith and Damnation gave us some previews for Age of Sigmar, 40k, Necromunda, and Warhammer Underworlds. So, what was first? Yes,
Blood Knights.
Oh my word! So we had the preview video for the Soulblight Gravelords. So the new Death faction in AOS, which is very, very reminiscent of the classic vampire counts from Warhammer Fantasy. I think people thought they were going to go a bit more weird vampireness instead of just leaning into the classic undead stuff. But we've got, it seems to be a nice mix of new scary vampire stuff and classic zombies and skeletons and wights and stuff.
It's kind of what you wish your old vampire counts army used to look like.
Yeah,
or should have looked
like. I think it's very much what you remember it looks like in your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you actually find it, and you're like, oh yeah.
This I would love. So I think the last army I built for 8th edition Fantasy was a vampire counts army where it had a unit of 200 zombies in it.
Oh, I love that list.
It had 200 zombies and then some blood knights in it. And I would love
a lot of big foreheads.
It was just those models were awful. But these new plastic zombies are outstanding. So we got a really cool trailer, mix of animation, voiceovers, and then model shots. So we've got so first up on the site are the new blood knights, and they are just outstanding.
Yeah, everything you would want.
They're pretty all right there. Yeah,
spiky armor, vampire horses. Like there's even some lady vampires in there.
Is there?
Yeah, I think 2, maybe 1 or 2.
The banner bearer.
Yeah. Like
she's got pointy armor.
Cue massive internet debates about the benefits of boob armor.
But just outrageously nice models.
Yeah, they're stunning.
Skeleton horses that look scary instead of weird skeleton horses with tails.
Yeah. It's pretty much just the head that they've done on those skeleton horses.
The horses,
which is good,
don't have extra knees.
Yes.
Yeah. Good times.
I'm in love with the new skeleton warriors. Those are fantastic. Yeah. I love that they're all in battered Moorish armor. They look awesome.
Yeah, so they fit in really well with the stuff that's in Curse City. So they're following the same sort of vein as sort of extending over how the current skeletons look in that sort of they've just been dug up and they've just got ancient styles of armor. But this being a bit more unified and mixing with the Curse City stuff is just
the new zombies are phenomenal as well. They're that kit is so old now. These are fantastic. And what I love is that in the middle of it all, there's a very clear nod to the old Hero Quest zombie with the big cleaver. Literally the same miniature, but 40 years later and infinitely better.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the the tree roots and stuff growing through them. That's a really nice aesthetic.
It's nice. I do feel though, when I don't know how big the units are, is there going to be enough variety?
Well, it looks like 10 different models. So
Okay.
even if I think currently you can have zombies in units of 60, but
Oh my.
there will technically be variety because at the moment you don't see any zombies in AOS. So
Okay.
um,
I'm just looking at them now and looking at the skeletons. That skeleton standard bearer, well, bless him. He's literally just got a stick with a little sock.
yeah.
Like
His little face.
it's a very like I'm just waving a piece.
He's
of
very
cloth. Like,
pleased
I'm
to
not
be
really
doing
a standard
it.
bearer.
For a
He
lack
does have a
of,
big old.
He is pleased to be doing
yeah, for a
it.
lack
Although the
of
unit
any
leader,
features.
and the unit leader's shouting, which I love. I love skeletons trying to
Yeah.
shout and play horns and things. Is the best.
They can. They just all sound like Skeletor.
It's when they're a hornblower, yeah.
So it's very
Yeah, I
cool
love
that
it.
there's and
The Fellbats. Finally.
and the
awesome.
fell bats, yeah,
Mm.
big actual scary bat models instead of weird flat drawings of bats.
With pig
The old
noses.
bat
Yeah.
roadkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've
Um,
all just flown into windows.
so yeah, just beautiful models, and like the wings on them are amazing. So yeah, I imagine you're going to see loads of conversions for weird vampire-y stuff, and just outstanding looking stuff. And then
I love
in
the
the
cover
video,
art for the book.
yes, yeah, that is a classic. This is my scary vampire castle, and here are my zombies, and here's my giant dead dog.
Yeah.
Oh, and my
Yep.
dragon.
Blah, blah, blah.
My dragons
And
and bats.
And my dragons, should I say?
And just that classic. Here is my horde of dead things, and also if you come near me, I will kick the shit out of you because I'm a vampire. Just great
I love vampires.
great artwork. And then the video has some more pictures of the vampire characters we've already seen. So the Rat Prince, the White King on horse, and essentially the guy who's on the front cover, the vampire who's like turning into bats and stuff with his shield and mace. So very cool. Obviously, it's been an exciting couple of months of people waiting for this to drop since the first potato camera pictures of that vampire came out. And apparently there was an article from GW this week saying that all of the stuff from Cursed City is essentially usable in this book. So that's very cool.
That's nice.
So then we got we'll continue with AOS because we got a quick little preview for the next
It's got me excited.
Broken Realms book.
Yeah.
So Broken Realms Kragos, was it?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah. So apparently, not a name of a character we've ever seen before. And sort of like looking at the shield, I immediately thought, oh, is it gonna be Kurnos? Like,
Yeah.
That's what I
but
thought.
because like he's got jangly things on the bottom of his shield, and he's sort of Kernothy, but he's a centaur.
Could be
I
the
don't-
Wild Hunt, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, Alariel turned up in a different form, didn't she?
yeah, and sort of, and we know that the Kernothy elves are out there because they're in Warhammer Underworlds.
Yeah.
But like so my assumption would have been that like if they were gonna call like he may like this Kragos, if they are the Kernothy, they may be the leader of the Kernothy elves. Like Kurnoth might be dead or whatever. So we may see that. anything remotely Eldar adjacent, you get very upset about.
I do. They're all fine. They're all just like sitting in their little gardens and greenhouses and enjoying a good time.
But yes, yeah. So it's sort of like it seems to be looking over the ruins of civilization and upset about that. But that's all we got. So we will.
But they did say God, didn't
Yes, yeah. So all of the books seem to be about gods and Be'lakor. Like he's pretty much up there. So obviously we had Broken Realms Teclis, which is already out. We've got Broken Realms Marathi, which is already out. Broken Realms Teclis, which is next. Broken Realms Be'lakor, and then Kragos after that as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. Like any new models and races and stuff in AOS is always welcome, because even if like they're usually split between reimagining of old stuff like this vampire, like this Soulblight army, or taking an old concept and making it entirely super wacky, kind of like they did with the Kadaran Overlords. Like going, dwarves are cool, but what if they piloted flying spaceships and all wore little spacesuits?
Yeah,
like
what about
amazing?
What about flying
Gatling
dwarves?
cannons?
Yeah, yeah. So that's really cool. So we look forward to that. I'm sure it'll be a while before we actually see anything from it, but it's just a little teaser. And then into Warhammer Underworlds. So the next warband are the Canaan's Reapers, so the Ossiarch Bone Reaper group. And my word, are these models beautiful?
Yeah, I love how mental the Bone Reaper stuff is.
They are. I love it because they are skeletons that are wearing armor made of melted down and reshaped bone.
Yeah,
like they are. And then there's chaps like the big guy, who I can imagine is Kanan, who is then just made of melted down bones.
Is that guy Kanan, or is it the guy with the obelisk-y thing in his hand?
Oh, I don't know actually.
I mean, I didn't watch the thingy, so I'm not too sure.
Oh, I'm not sure.
But looking at the warband, like he looks a bit
Yeah,
flamboyant.
I mean, he's got a cape and he's got a special hat, so that does usually indicate they're in charge. But then this other one is massive.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the hat, and he has just got a skirt and not a cape.
Doesn't have big shoulder pads, so
he's got one.
Yeah, you need a pair to be in charge.
Yeah, you're probably right. Then maybe, or that guy, or the one with the obelisk is maybe like the wizard. But we'll see.
I suppose maybe.
Yeah, I should have listened instead of chattering away. During the preview.
That memory card he's got in his hand is obviously quite important.
Yeah.
And he's got a bird on his base, so I'm going with he's the leader.
Yeah. So is that bird like a zombie bird or a skeleton bird? Because it's got a skull for a head, but then feathers and normal feet.
I think it's a baby carrion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's obviously a thing.
Could be.
I don't know what's going
on. They give birth to them and they grow up.
But just a cool bunch of models. I mean, the two obviously super dynamic ones in the big choppy guy with the axe and then the guy with the obelisk are great. And then the others are just a nice set of models. And there's a Bone Reaper with a bow, which is nice. We've not seen that before.
Cute, I think.
So that's very cool. Another Underworld warband to pick up and not play with.
Yep.
It was about 2 days ago they did the timeline, didn't they? They updated it, and these are the second to last.
Yes,
of this series.
So we've just got the
I didn't work out what the last one was.
Deepkin. Yeah, it's going to be like a little flying fish thing, I imagine. That's on that base.
Yeah.
So yeah,
to be loads of the octopus that are with that character in the Deepkin army. no actual elves,
the
just
octopus with the
angry
shank.
octopi.
Or it's led by Sebastian the crab. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Patrick.
Oh my god. That would be amazing. Love Warhammer Underworlds. All three of us played it quite a lot, and we got really into it. And then I don't think any of us have touched it since Beastgrave came out.
No.
And
I think I'm still one behind. I was 9.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm 2 behind. Yeah, because we're in dire chasm. I didn't play Beastgrave because they changed the rules.
Yeah,
I didn't want to read
No, I didn't. Yeah.
But beautiful sets of models.
And 40k got exciting.
And can still be used in AOS. And I know that loads of people use them for like D&D and stuff. Because they're like quite characterful little war bands, or for like different villains and stuff. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, I suppose I could see that.
Back to the Underhive then. So we've got the next Necromunda.
Faith, Fire, and Fury.
The next Necromunda expansion book. So Fire, Faith, Faith, Fire, and Fury, and it is the House of Faith book, which is essentially
The House of Fire and the House of
another
Fury.
fantastic rebranding by Games Workshop on an old range of miniatures.
Yes. I'm not going to say what the old Redemptionist models used to look like.
But if you know, you know.
You know.
Yeah.
And they don't look like that anymore. So that's good. It seems like they've effectively been absorbed into House Cawdor. And from what they were saying in the...
It seems like it's on the mask.
And from sort of from the preview, it seems like that they can be added into a Cawdor gang, or you can play with the Redemptionists on their own. So that's quite cool.
I need these just to have as inquisitorial acolytes. They're brilliant.
Oh yeah, I was watching the preview with good buddy Paul, and like as soon as they cropped up, I was like, that's a box with a Munitorian preacher and a Munitorian missionary for my Sisters of Battle.
Done,
the guys. Like, so that's it's a beautiful kit. Like, and what I really love about the Necromunda stuff is that they take the like classic ideas of really basic weapons and make them completely different for each gang. So like that flamer is like just a pipe with a tube stuck to it, and then like the fuel canister, but like looks completely different to every other flamer in Necromunda and like 40k.
Yep. And still has the classic flaming head brazier as well. I'm glad that survived.
Yeah, because having an actual lit fire on your head shows that you love the Emperor more than anybody else.
You either love the Emperor or you are the spirit of jazz. It's that simple.
Yeah. And you can tell the leader is the leader, because not only does he has a flaming brazier on his head, but so does his little skull have its own little flaming brazier on its head.
2 big shoulder pads.
And 2 big shoulder pads, that's very true. I'm not quite sure how his like coat face cool thing works. And he's got no peripheral vision, but I guess you don't need that when you're...
So if you come up sideways, you can...
I'm not sure you need that when you've just got a chain axe with a flamer attached to it. So that's very cool. My other thing that I love about Necromunda stuff is how they like reinvent. Carry on that they reinvent weapons, like the old eviscerator with like a one-shot flamer attachment. They've sort of re-engineered by having a guy with an eviscerator, and then the flame is just in the middle of the blade.
I love it.
So attached
just
going to
set the eviscerator on fire rather than anything else. I love it.
I thought for a minute that the end of it, on obviously the rotary bearing style thing, was a purity seal.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, I don't think it is, but I was just like, oh come on, you're just going to burn it. It makes no sense. But
no. It looks like it's the sort of housing.
It's just a bit of metal.
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't need to make sense when you're a Redemptionist because you're going to burn everything anyway.
Yeah. I have noticed that they all do have like nooses though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can show you how to tie a noose. It's one of my many skills. Apparently, it's illegal to actually tie it in most European countries. I've never actually discovered which ones.
Well, there we go. We can send you on a road trip around Europe and see where you get nicked.
Yeah. Sit there and
but I think that sort of reflects their like outlaw taking the law into their own hands, going around and murdering people who are maybe not as faithful to the Emperor as them. Because it looks like that they are. It looks like they're the first actual non-Forge World like outlaw models that we've got. So it'd be really interesting to see how they interact in the campaigns, because these guys are nut jobs.
Yeah, not as faithful leading as far as not having a hat that's on fire. So death to the unclean.
It's not. Just to be sure and just to be clear, it's not the noose that makes them the nut jobs.
It's the
No, it's fine. It's fine.
And also a new Necromunda starter set, which is apparently going to be a really good way to introduce people to the game. Apparently a lot cheaper than any of the other Necromunda starter sets we've seen over the last few years. Dark Uprising, I'm looking at you. It has blast markers. Yeah, it is the only game. Oh, no, Titanica still uses them. But we still have blast markers. So this is
for the people that can't let go.
Yeah, so this looks like it harkens back to the first new Necromunda box that we got, where it's more of a board game. But we've got some wolves, got all of the cards and dice you need to start playing, and 2 gangs. Yeah, and Escher get.
How many are there now?
So this is the third one, yeah. So yeah, you had the original Under Hive Wars one, which was Escher and Goliath. And then you had Dark Uprising, which had the Corpse Grinder Cult and the Enforcers. And now we've got Hive War, which is the Escher and Dalak. So this scene.
I'm surprised to see Escher's back.
Yeah, could have used it as an opportunity to maybe put the Cawdor in. Like Van Sar and Dalak, the models have a very similar aesthetic. All the models are quite thin and maybe it's just to add some colour to the box, because Escher are obviously very bright and the rest of the games are all quite
drab,
dark and dull. But yeah, cool walls and columns, which and all of the cool barricades and stuff. So hopefully into Necromunda and play some quick games. Right. Shall we take a quick break before we move on to 40k? I'm going to say
let's do that,
because we're pretty much at the half an hour limit. And so we'll talk about the 40k previews on the other side, and then we'll ramble about stuff until the episode finishes as normal.
Huzzah.
See you in a minute. Okay, thanks for waiting there, folks. So we've gone through the first part of the GW preview from Saturday the 20th. So we're going to move on to all of the 40k stuff that we've seen, and then wildly speculate about what this means for the rest of the year and the other stuff coming up. So, first off the bat, we've seen the Skitari Marshal, which is a character that we got in a preview about 4 months ago now, 3-4 months ago. Sort of teased. And this is a dedicated Skitari, I assume, HQ choice / commander for AdMech in 40k. So it's cool that they actually got those sort of military structures within the Skitari instead of them just being, you're either a Skitari or a tech priest.
I liked it. I was quite excited for that because, watching the video though, I was mildly disappointed. It was almost like they were building something really cool, and then they were like, "Haha, here's your marshal," and I was like, "Oh, I was expecting." It almost felt like it was going to be like a massive like robot-y thing. I don't know. That's just how I felt with that video. I was like, "Oh,
no, just a fabulous clockwork soldier."
It's very
cool, but
it's a Skitari with a bigger hat, a bigger coat, and a bigger pistol. I was
hoping for the Thunderhammer.
Yes, it was like a blunt weapon. Stick. Yes.
It was funny,
but
it was well made. It was good.
Yes, but I love this model because it looks like a Skitari right off the bat. Obviously, that's good that it fits in with the faction it's supposed to be. But this is the fanciest Skitari I think we've ever seen. I mean,
it's got like a compass and everything.
Yeah, the jacket is outstanding. It's bigger than all of the other Skitari coats. He's got a nice popped collar, so he's super cool. and
sleeves.
He's got sleeves, yeah, and he's got all of the buttons and fastenings, like the sort of 17th, 18th century, sort of like field marshals and stuff from like Napoleonics. So that's all very cool. Seems to have got some sort of sword.
It's a steam-powered sharp.
Is that the first sword in the Skitarii Admech army?
No,
they do have power swords and stuff.
Do they?
And,
stuff.
You've
got the little ninja guys, haven't you?
Yeah, the Rustalkers have them, and they're in
the
basic Skitarii kit.
Ah, shut up.
It's all right.
Yeah, haven't you got to go back to work? Jesus.
The professionals. And he's got one big giant glove as well.
That's his human side, mate.
Yeah.
His human side that is still a fan of Michael Jackson all those years into the future.
But I love his giant like clockwork revolver, because that's a hefty hand cannon, and I pay for it.
It's like fucking steam powered Dirty Harry. It's enormous.
Yeah.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
It's got all of the attachments for shooting down police helicopters.
And that servo skull's enormous.
Yeah. That's a big head that's come from. And it's got 2 extra lenses bolted onto it for viewing things. And he also has a camera for viewing things on his shoulder. And then also 2 magnifying glasses on his... Like, this guy is there to see things and then tell other Skitarii what to do by pointing out.
He literally stands on a viewpoint over the battlefield, just yelling, "Enhance, enhance."
Yes. So that's very cool that we're seeing an expansion to the Mechanicus range to sort of fill them out as a full army. So hopefully this guy's going to be, maybe fairly nifty in combat, but puts out some buffs that aren't necessarily just rerolls, because I think we're starting to move past that as just the mechanic that all characters give to people. So that's what I'm excited for.
And obviously a new book.
And a new codex. So so it makes sense that they're one of the first ones, because they are like half of their army is split out in other books and not actually in the codex.
A lot of it's new as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got the whole Wild West section of the Skitarii that's just been in campaign books for now.
This guy does deserve a cowboy hat.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's got the elongated duster and sleeves and stuff, so he sort of fits that aesthetic as well, which is super cool. So all of the Wild West Skitarii plus the Scorpiuses, the floaty tanks, they're not currently in the normal codex, so it's pretty cool that they're finally wrapping them all together. And I'm kind of hoping, looking at the front page of this codex, we're hopefully expecting some more Mechanicus stuff, because this if we don't get a giant tech priest model like the guy on the cover, I'm going to be very upset, because that's not cool.
I was going to say, do you not think that's cool?
It doesn't look like cool. Doesn't
have cool signature appendages, does it?
No, like it might be cool because it's
I don't want another
a big axe,
tech priest.
Well, I would like a giant. I would like a giant, like a generic tech priest.
Okay.
But also sort of behind to the left, all of the Skitarii are like carrying pikes.
Oh yeah,
like the Forge World Titan guards
and that.
Yeah. But they seem to be like all hooded and stuff. So I'm kind of hoping that there's sort of more Skitarii stuff coming.
I mean, they can. Can't they? It's one of those races where they can just do more stuff with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Weird. I mean, well, yeah, exactly, and like they can do anything as long as it plugs into like the basic Skitarii chassis, which is a person with their arms and legs cut off.
Yeah,
there's a really good bit in I think it's Hell's Reach, the Space Marine Battles novel, where Grimaldus meets a Skitarii like platoon commander and chats with him. and then bumps into a different Skitarii platoon commander later, who's got like 6 spider legs and is crawling all over walls, and remarks that, "Oh, I've met somebody else with your name," and it's actually the same guy. He just took off his normal human legs and got plugged into giant spider legs. So I'm hoping we see just loads more weird Skitarii stuff.
That'd be very
It's
cool.
a bit like
Because
what is it? Is it Narnia, where she has different faces that she wears? The Queen just plugs a different one in, however she sees fit, however she wants to look. A bit like that.
Yeah, I like the weirder they go with Admech, the better. Like the classic, like the Castellan robots and the breaches and stuff. All of that stuff is really cool. But just go really weird with it.
That's that interview that Darren Natherman and Jez Goodwin had, though, wasn't it? Like where they were talking about how weird they can go with it and what got the best reception, and then they were like, "Yeah, all right, that seems to work well. Let's go nuts. Let's make some cowboys."
Yeah, yeah. I feel like out of all of the stuff that's sort of integrated with the Imperium, like meeting things and people from the Adeptus Mechanicus would freak normal humans out the most. Like slithering like mechindrites everywhere and like extra arms and weird faces and brains in vats and stuff.
That screech at you first in like white noise before they realise that you don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah. Although there is a servitor behind the big tech priest who is using a quill and book and paper.
Some things,
so
you just need to keep classic, mate.
Yep.
Mate.
The old big servitor.
And he's got a little arm which job is to hold a sensor on a chain as well. It's just insane. I love it. So hopefully I assume this is the next codex after Drukhari, because we've not seen anything else.
No, they've not mentioned anything. Have they? Everything else we've had.
Yeah, so I assume we're definitely in backlog territory. So I'm kind of hoping that we start to see more previews like this soon. And by the guys chatting on the preview today, Adam and Eddie, it sounds like we've got more of these coming with more codexes and previews. So that's exciting. It sounds like they're going to be a radical change to Adeptus Mechanicus, because I think they kind of suffer with almost the successes of doing what 8th edition wanted you to do very well, which was sit around and shoot and then grab objectives later on. And that's pretty much, I mean, they do it very well in this edition, but doing that doesn't seem to win games.
No, they're a lot more mobile than they used to be.
Yeah, they are a lot more mobile now, and like some lists have done well for AdMech, especially earlier in the edition. I think there just needs to be a bit more spice to sort of make more stuff worth taking. So hopefully this will do that, and it will dive into the weirder side. And instead of guys, like I said, just giving rerolls, they issue special 11011 orders to people, and they do more stuff, which will be cool. And also off the back of that, kind of makes me want to get some Adeptus Mechanicus stuff to run alongside my AdMech Knight household as well. So I'm kind of feeling that some infantry to do actions and stuff like that is what the army is missing to play competitively. So may pick up some more of that, and with that hopefully coming imminently, might actually help with that with any upcoming events later in the year. So we'll
fingers crossed.
Put a pin in that. That will be a possible thing if I can get over and out from under the mountains of Drukhari stuff I've ordered. Cool. So on to another army that Callum has bought this year.
Guns in space.
So we've seen the next preview of the new expansion to the Adeptus Sororitas range. It's a Predator. let's have no bones about it. It's essentially a Sisters of Battle Predator, but oh my sweet
it's got
word,
all
is it
the
beautiful.
bling. I've got to say, We've said it before, where Sisters of Battle is very much a hobbyist's army because there's so much detail to paint. But they seem to have really turned that dial up to 11 on these vehicles lately. Like, it's got filigree on it, like tiny statues, everything. Like, there's so much you cannot skimp on painting these vehicles. I think there's so much.
No, I mean, I'm scared to finish painting the infantry, and most of them are like power armor and coat. Like these things. I mean, it's much more than a Predator because it's got another heavy bolter in the front, but. Like I said, it's just like the vehicles are just little mobile shrines driving around.
There's more flamboyance on these than custody vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's because they love the Emperor more. The custodies have to work with the Emperor every day.
They loathe him. He's like snores and he's got this really odd smell that no one can ever figure out where.
It's wee and biscuits. He's that old. It's because of wee and biscuits. But like, clearly, they measure faith in the Emperor differently to the Redemptionists, where it's measured in how hot your burning hat is. This is how much bling can you carry at one time.
Yeah, just outstanding. A couple of us were chatting earlier just about the Sisters of Battle vehicles, and like it's very similar to the. So it seems to be the same Exorcist and Immolator chassis. So it's got that little heavy bolter in the front. But it's like that model's just outstanding.
Unnecessarily it's only got earrings on the front of it. Like it's crazy.
In the video, you see it's rocket launcher as well, don't you? On the back, a lot better.
Yes. So that's the hunter killer missile that comes in all of the Sisters of Battle.
The fact it's just a hunter killer missile,
is
what it shouldn't be just a hunter killer missile. That should level a city.
It reminds me of the Galahorn. So anybody who played Destiny was this very fancy golden rocket launcher with sweeping wings and stuff all over it, and that's what the hunter killers look like. You take, which is very cool. So it seems like it's got a couple of weapon options. So it's got a big battle cannon. And then an option for some auto cannons. So sorry, it's not a Predator. It's a Castigator.
Not to be confused with the Night Castigator.
Anything else? No,
careful. Or the Drukhari in a book or something like that. I've heard.
But it's a cool model. So it's got a Castigator battle cannon or Castigator auto cannons. It's cool that it's got a sister hanging out the top. Firing a big storm.
I like that she's opened her helmet to see more.
Yes. Yeah.
Can
open the hatch
turn
of the tank.
The turret all the way around?
It can turn the turret all the way around. So this was one of my favorite. So one of my favorite things to do is after a GW preview is look at their Facebook posts and then just the reams and reams of people complaining about nonsense shit.
Yeah.
And my favorite one that I found was, why are the braziers not on fire like the other tanks? And just someone's response was, so you can turn the turret around. Which is absolutely makes perfect bloody sense. Like, just, I don't like, well, no, I do like to moan about people moaning, but like, just some common sense.
That is the best subject to moan about, though. Other people's stupid whinging.
In fairness, though, the turret's looking a little low. Can you turn it?
Yeah, I think you can turn it.
Do you think you can?
It looks entirely turnable.
And it will go over the top of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, because I don't think GW would produce a miniature that stupid anymore.
I mean, I imagine the barrel of the weapon goes up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
To maybe scoot over those. But also
as it turns.
But yeah. Obviously, physical limitations of that being stuck between the braziers on fire would look a bit daft.
I like that it's just got very hot coals sat in there, because that tank's going to have been belting about at high speed. Those are probably going to have burnt out.
Yeah. They're not... speak to the Redemptionists about those. They would not be in...
They're not using the right stuff.
They'd be like, well, you got that stuff in a bowl. That should be in a hat. Doing it wrong.
What? What you need to do is when you get those mech suits, you need to get these and put them on their heads.
Ultimate faith.
That'd be great.
There's the episode title.
What I liked about the preview, ultimate faith. If you've not got a burning hat, you're doing it wrong. What I liked about the preview video for that is they seem to have extended the one for the Paragon War suits. So it's a broader look at the animated stained glass feature.
Yeah.
That then included this tank. So I imagine any future Sororitas stuff that we're going to get is going to be presented in the same way, and that's very cool. And for pure rampant speculation, they seem to be fighting Chaos Marines and Traitor Guard on that stained glass window. So I'm going to stake my incredible reputation that we may actually get some Traitor Guard at some point in the future. From now until the end of time, that covers. So I'm sure I'll be right. But yeah, very cool. I mean, it's a very the actual concept of it's just it's essentially a Sisters of Battle Predator, but that model is outstanding. It's that's what a Sisters of Battle Predator if someone 10 years ago built a Sisters of Battle Predator as a hobby project, this is what they would picture in their head before not being able to reproduce in miniature form. So it's just covered in bling. It's covered in Sisters of Battle things. I can't even count the number of fleur de lis on it. It's all over the place. So it's just very cool and fits with the aesthetic of the rest of the army, which is really cool. And it means that the Exorcist isn't the only thing that can shoot further than 24 inches, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Never even thought of that.
Yeah, very exciting. So hopefully we'll see more awesome stuff. Right, the last preview then. The thing that I imagine got more people excited than anything else in the world.
This actually got me quite excited. I thought this was quite cute.
So this is so the preview video for this was an orc talking over an orc cave painting about how much they're going to all band together and use all their shiny new wagons to fight the Yumis and take over. And then he immediately gets killed by another orc who carries over the story, talking about how they don't need any of that and they're just going to use squigs. So this seems to be an expansion to Codex Orcs. So hopefully covered within a new Orc Codex when we get it, hopefully fairly soon, where everything seems to be squig powered. And oh my god, I love it beyond things imaginable. So the only model that we've seen is a what is he called? He is a
Beast Snagger.
So the Beast Snaggers are a type of orc that go around killing all of the biggest monsters and vehicles and titans they can find.
Okay.
So it's very similar to the Bone Splitters in Age of Sigmar. So whose job it is, they just go around and they just stab big things. I can't remember what they actually called this boy, but he's like a squig. So that's a squig hog.
Love it. Okay.
And he's like a squig hog rider. He's a squig hog. He's a squig hog boy. There we go. Should have knew that it was called that, but it seems to be.
I'm surprised they didn't call him a squig ball boy.
Yeah, but like squig hog, that's great. It's like a squig and a pig. And like the model we've seen has got obviously a Beast Snagger or the squig hog boy on the front with his little grot friend.
It's that headbutting apparatus he has on his head, mate.
Yeah,
literally. That is, I'm going
bolted
to fly
onto his
off
head,
of this,
looking at the tits,
and literally break you in two with my nuts.
Yeah,
he's obviously from Portsmouth.
Or I imagine he uses it to headbutt the squig hog to get it to slow
this
down.
guy's definitely been at a fight in a Ken's kebabs.
Go faster. Yeah.
Um,
The Grot's got a better weapon than he has.
yeah. It's just it's a great dynamic model. It's a squig with 4 legs. You don't see that very often.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen it, have we?
No, like sometimes they've got little hands and stuff, haven't they? But
They got their little T-Rex hands.
yeah. But yeah, actual 4 legs is quite a novelty. But in the video,
To be fair, they got squigs for everything.
Yeah.
They got hair squigs.
yeah, that's true. But in the video, we see there's loads of seems to be like chariots and artillery pieces and stuff, which are all like pulled by squigs. Like, there's one that I can see that's sort of a squig that's got an engine sticking out the back of it.
It's going to be amazing.
Like,
It's gonna have 2 wheels on the back.
Squigs are like a license to print money. Everyone loves a squig, and just more big squigs.
Yeah, actually bringing squigs like into like if they can just have units of squigs running around like you can in AOS, like I'm doing it. Like squigs for life. A friend of ours messaged me as soon as like the first squig appeared in the video. It was just like Gargantuan squig off is getting bought. So yeah, just love it. It's quite a funny little video, a good way to advertise orcs, and the model's outstanding. I can't wait to see more.
It's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. Like, unfortunately, it's not a full range reveal or a unit reveal. We've just got like one model.
What a model!
But, yeah, what a model. Hopefully, there'll be the next Xenos army. So you would imagine that these are probably after Adeptus Mechanicus or maybe the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, most likely.
But yeah, these can't come quick enough in my estimation.
It's good to see the Xenos races now starting to get touched on.
Yes, yeah. It's I mean, yeah, we've got the Drukhari on order from today, but obviously we've seen some orcs now, which is great. But there are 2 other Imperial factions in this pre-order, in this preview.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't have it all. Like a 2-to-1 ratio, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's pretty good going. Yeah,
so
that's pretty good going.
But yeah, I'm very excited. Like I think something almost like the Adeptus Mechanicus have got over the last couple of years. 4 orcs would be great. So that sort of injection of loads more new stuff into the range.
It's another race you can definitely do that with, though, isn't it?
Well,
like
you can almost do anything with it.
Well, yeah, I mean this sort of feels like this sort of feels like the Hereditor of the old Feral Orc army.
Snake bites.
So sort of was it Snake bites who used to have
Snake bites had all the boar
boys,
and then you had like the Feral Orcs, which were really touched on in like Epic Armageddon and stuff, had like the biggest touch on them. But they all had like boar boys, and then you had like the mad boys and stuff. But most importantly, steam gargants. Just literally
God damn it, you're old.
Trash piles with a furnace on them that moved. It was
So we're talking about flaming hats again.
Flaming tummies.
Flaming tummies.
But yeah, I mean, this is So these sort of feel like the other side of the orcs, where they're just sort of like, I don't need all of the fancy mech stuff, which is what got introduced with the last round of orc models. So they got all of the buggies and mech guns and stuff. This is an orc.
I got a hog
with like, yeah, he's got a hog. He's got maybe like a rudimentary pistol and a sharp stick. That's all he needs to go fight a space marine. Like, and I can't.
That's what an orc thinks he needs.
That's it, and I can't wait. I mean, there seems to be like a big like war boss in the artwork with like a big chopper and like loads of dead animal skulls on him, and then he's got a little squig. He's got a targeted squig on his shoulder sticking out of his mouth, which is super cute. So I can't wait for this. I can't wait to see what these sort of squig chariot things that we can kind of see in the background look like. But yeah, I'm definitely here for it. I mean, orcs are a great thing for 40k anyway. When you see them, and when you find someone who like loves an orc army, they really love it. So hopefully this will bring more people into the fold, and the more squigs, the better. I think
so.
For sure. So, Squig Army 2022. God damn it.
Do you think it'll be that? Late?
Well, no, that might be when I get around to them. But so that was everything covered by the preview. I think we're getting another one in another couple of weeks. Seems to be the thing at the moment, because I think you have to remember that obviously a lot of the big American conventions that usually happen at the start of the year obviously aren't happening at the moment. So your LVOs, your Novas, your Adepticons aren't happening, and the big GW previews that are usually like an hour, 90 minutes long, like full of new stuff for every game system for each one of those, is I think kind of getting spread out amongst all of these sort of monthly previews. So I'm hoping we get more of it. I hope we get more of a roadmap for 40k. I don't really at the moment. I don't really care about AOS. It seems like a new edition is imminent, so I'll wait for that when it happens. But those new vampire models are really cool. So that's exciting. Any thoughts on what you would like to see next?
Don't even get me started.
He's good.
Aside from
he's going to get the slideshow out about Aspect Warriors again.
No, I'm not overly fussed about Aspect Warriors. I want to see more emphasis on wraiths, the wraith side of the craft world. But I don't know. I'm actually quite looking forward to Tau.
Yeah.
I like Tau a lot. I think they're a really cool race. Bit more expansion on their background, really, and what they've been up to, this sort of thing. I think they're a great addition to 40k for sure. And they always bring cool models. So I really want them to be sooner rather than later, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I having I currently own 2 Tau armies, but having loads of Tau throughout my sort of hobby life, they're a really nice palette cleanser because they look completely different to everything else. I think they're going to be one of the hardest armies to get right rules wise in 9th edition though, because at the moment they do purely rely on having more guns than your opponent, and and that doesn't seem to be working for them this edition.
It's almost like they need to bring back the ability for the battle suits to be able to move more than once.
Move more once
to give them mobility.
The sort of retreat and shoot needs to be there for there's technically you can retreat and shoot using the Commander Montcar ability, but it seems really limited, and obviously you can only do it once per game. So I think they really need a good think through. I'd like to see them as soon as possible. I'd like to see everything, but I think they're one of the factions that if they get it wrong, then they're going to be bad for 3-4 years, which is not something anyone really wants to see. What about you, Sam?
Not when they're one of those races that has the option to be able to be anything it needs to be.
Exactly. I mean, we could see a huge expansion of alien auxiliaries, that sort of bring that table presence
or new tech.
Yeah, new tech, or even eschewing the the way that they look in close combat, and just sort of going, there is a necessity to have Farsight-esque battle suits running around. Just because, that's a necessity that is in the game at the moment. You have to be able to bully units off of objectives, and Tau cannot do that. So, I mean, if they need a unit to do that in the game, they're an army that they can make up a reason for that in the background. I mean, they can do what they want because all of the head ethereal's dead. He's a hologram. So Shadow Sun can issue whatever she wants, really. So that would be.
No one's replaced him.
No, he died in. I can't remember which book it is. But they've been using like a really like lifelike hologram ever since. Because they've not been able to replace him because they think most of the town would commit suicide if they found out he died.
Okay.
So that's exciting. Anything you're hoping for the next wave of releases and stuff, Sam?
No. Everything that I really love is pretty much covered already. I mean, you touched on possible Traitor Guard in the future. I'd love a dedicated Traitor Guard book because at the moment my Renegades army is masquerading as actual guard. But that would be something I'd look forward to. But I just love all the toys. So when like any new toy is good for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I would like again. Traitor Guard's a really odd army because they need to be different enough from the Militarum book to be worthwhile to have a range.
Yeah, not just painted black and red.
Otherwise, they suffer from the same things that Chaos Knights have, which is not being the Imperial ones.
They also need a definite upgrade from the old Renegades and Heretics list, which no thought had really been put into. It was a collection of really cool kits that someone scribbled the rules for on the back of a fag packet, and then that fag packet went through the washing machine, and then it went into an index. It's just awful.
Yeah. And exactly one of those units was good. That was the Renegade Psyche Coven.
What about you?
I mean, sort of. I'm entirely in the headspace of I just want more 40k. I kind of want it to match the pace of 8th edition, but obviously coronavirus and Brexit has just slowed everything right down. So if we still get a codex a month, that's something, especially until the world gets a little bit back to normal. We can start playing events in the UK again. I think it's at that point, so sort of maybe late summer, early autumn, if we're only getting one a month, you'll see the real disparity between haves and have-nots between codexes. Not to say that existing codexes won't be able to go toe-to-toe with the new stuff, because they still are. But I think there's a definite design philosophy in these new books to get the game to play how it's supposed to be played. And those sort of 8th edition holdover lists aren't that.
Yeah. I agree.
So, that's kind of what I want. Other than that, I want more stuff Middle-earth. Because...
That's coming pretty quick.
It's sort of it's coming. I mean, the new Treebeard and Quickbeam were released today, so that's really cool. As well as the Easterling Dragon Acolytes,
the not Iron Guard.
Yes. Yes. All of you Middle Earth strategy battle game viewers will get that reference. So it looks like there's a new expansion on the way for them. Which will be really cool. Having so hopefully we'll see more of the. I think it will be more of the.
That's what I want. War in the North.
The war in the North during the War of the Ring. So that'd be very cool to see the sort of late age dwarves fight the Eastlings and the Varags of Khand. But I just want stuff. I want to be able to play toys, and I want new rules to digest and go over. I feel quite lucky because Sisters of Battle got a new codex sort of in the last year, and like Drukhari have one now. So I've got new stuff to play with, and sort of I'm thinking about adding some Adeptus Mechanicus to my knights. So I've got new rules and new combinations and stuff to play about with. So that'll keep me happy until the next shiny thing distracts me.
I feel like I'm not getting anything new till Christmas.
2023.
I feel if Craft Worlds are coming, I think they're going to be end of year jobby, because I don't think it's just.
Oh no, yeah, they are the faction that I imagine needs a Necron level haul over.
You can use all that time to get your baby ready. Literally stride out with the Phantom day one of the of the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day one.
Who wants to play a 4,000 point game?
Big Eldar Dick.
Yeah. Hello. But yeah, I think their end of year job, which is good because it still gives me some of the year to at least play with some old stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, all of the like things that somehow made its way through like the Forge World rules and stuff at the points value it is. And yes, there's a few bits and bits like that. I still think they're entirely playable. I think they're just not.
Oh yeah, they are. They're just not. I don't think they can go toe to toe with like a competitive Marine list at the moment, for example. But I want more emphasis on wraiths. I feel that's the way the race is going anyway. I feel they can do a lot more with them, and you know, it's such an old army that hasn't changed over the years. I mean, out of units that have been introduced, I think the last ones were pretty much their planes.
Yeah, the planes and the wraith blades, like, maybe.
There's a combat version of Wraithguard. Yeah, so there's not much happened to them really. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it.
And I will when I get my Drukhari stuff next week, I will put the little dead guardian that comes on Lilith base to one side for you, so you can have a new Elder model.
Oh, thank you. I haven't actually bought a new Elder.
Brand
model
new, the newest Elder that ever was new.
Oh. That's actually a lie. I have a brand new Eldar model.
Yeah.
I just haven't picked them up from you yet.
Yes. That's where I was getting at with the wonky Forge World rules and points values.
Don't know what you're talking about. He's well worth points.
Yes, he is.
That's the point. Yeah.
Right. I think we should probably wrap up and leave it there as the segment's rolled on. But I think that's everything we've got to cover this week. So the next episode, regardless of what Ricky and Sam say, will be me pouring through the Drukhari book, hopefully in some sort of state of ecstasy. And that's going to be a treat for you all.
I'm going to have to cast subtitles for the entire episode because it's just going to be Callum going squeak at every page.
Yeah. A special...
He says he likes
special 8-hour one sitting.
Oh, there's a new vehicle.
Love it.
Oh, there's no new stuff. There is literally nothing new in the book. But anyway, so thank you all for listening. It was lovely to have you back, Ricky. And any thank yous or shout outs you guys want to do?
Nah.
Nah. I mean, we've been quite quiet on social media recently. Hopefully, we should sort that out in the next couple of weeks. So, hope to hear from you guys soon with your awesome questions. We'll try and be a little bit more,
Yeah, absolutely.
vocal.
And anybody who's got any questions, just shout us or message us or post on our page. Right. Thanks very much for listening. It's been a cool preview, and we will see you all in a couple of weeks.